So I had the 112 and the 110 out today with the loaders on them, just kind of driving them around, and figured I would compare the Kwik Way and the Johnson Model 10 loaders, kind of how they're different. So this machine right here has a Kwik Way on it. It's a 1966 110 with a Kwik Way loader. And then that machine is a 1967 112 hydraulic lift with the Johnson Model 10 on it. So the biggest difference between the two of them to start with is kind of my first impression is the self-leveling on the Kwik Way. Those arms right there is a self-leveling. I'll demonstrate that here in just a minute. And then also the overall refinement of the loaders and the size. The Kwik Way is much wider and longer than the Johnson. You can kind of see their front wheels aren't exactly lined up. In fact, here, we'll bend down here, and so you see how the front wheels aren't lined up, and yet at the same time the Kwik Way bucket is sticking out farther in front than the Johnson loader. They're not set up great. And then the overall refinement, just how they're built. You know, the Kwik Way has just basically plumbed. They're not bent lines. They're just pipe, and they just kind of plumbed in. I mean, even so much as to the edge of the bucket. You see it's kind of just a torch cut bucket. Meanwhile, if you go to the Johnson, you've got the bent lines, even though they're not perfect, but I mean still they're bent lines. You have the nice smooth edge on the bucket, and you know, so overall the refinement. They each have their own good qualities. Really like the self-leveling feature on the Kwik Way, and the Johnson, I really like the way it's set up a little bit better for hooking the loader up to the tractor, even though it's not very fast. And you know, just the fit of the tractor, it's a little bit better. The Kwik Way just seems way too big for a 110, and because it sticks everything out so far in front, the mechanics of it are you just need a lot more weight. Now, I don't have weight boxes on either of these tractors. I don't use them for loader purposes, really. I kind of just play around with them. I've been known to pick up some grass clippings with them, leaves, stuff like that. They'll catch chippings from a chipper, stuff like that. Nothing, you know, I really don't use them to do work with. That's what I've got the X748 for. But anyway, kind of the biggest differences, aside from what I've already talked about, is how they're connected. The Kwik Way, once again, it actually almost is a little kind of in-your-face obtrusive. The hydraulic tank sits right here. This is all fabricated. I didn't have this done. This was done by a previous owner of this Kwik Way. So the hydraulic tank sits there, and the hydraulic pump is hooked up a little bit different. You can see the hydraulic pump here. It just runs off the drive for the tractor tensioning mechanism, and if you look under the hood, you've got your high pressure line, you got your high pressure line going to the valve, and then coming out of the valve you've got your return line that goes to the tank, and then you've got your draw line coming out of the tank to go back to the hydraulic motor or pump, or whatever you want to call it. But if you can, as you can see, the pump really kind of blocks the dipstick for the tractor. I mean, you can see the dipstick way down in there. You know, there's a lot of things that the pump blocks. It's very difficult to get to. It's a very tight fit to put the pump in there. You know, so it's not the best overall design. The controls I like much better. I like the side they're on compared to the Johnson, which my Johnson's not. The Johnson Model 10 loader I have is not completely correct for the controls. So anyway, that's kind of the Kwik Way. And then if we go over the Johnson to compare that one, the Reservoir is in the main support here. You have your valve. The valve is much bigger. It's a little bit more definitely a nicer valve in terms of, you know, just hand feel and everything. You know, nice controls. However, it's actually absolutely ginormous. It should actually be located lower on the tractor, or on the frame. It should be located down here. However, this is how I got it, and I'll eventually restore it one day. I don't have time. I don't intend to anytime soon. Then if you look, this pump connects a little bit better, a little easier. Here's the pump right here, and then as you can see, it's basically all on the outside of the tractor, so I don't have to, you know, get in there and dig. Or I mean, obviously this is a Tecumseh, and so the oil fill is a little easier to get to, so that's not really a concern. So I don't know if this would, with the hydraulic lift, I don't know if that Kwik Way would fit on here or not. You'd probably have to take the hydraulic lift on. I don't know. It might be an interesting study. Hadn't really thought of that before. But here, I'll go ahead and crank them up, and I'll show you the overall lift height for each one. Hopefully I can get them cranked here. So this is the Johnson. And this, as you can see, there's no self-leveling system here. And so it doesn't level as it goes up. So we'll go ahead and just turn the bucket out and level the bucket up, so we've got a direct comparison. Now, with the Kwik Way, and you'll have to excuse the surging on the 112 there. We'll have to, hopefully the Kwik Way starts up here. Yep. So on this one, what we're going to do is, so the funny part is the controls are the opposite. So when you're using them, they're a little, you have to study them pretty hard. So you see how the bucket's level there? We're gonna take and lift it up. Oops, the wrong way. And I want you to watch the bucket as it goes up. See those self-leveling arms? Keep that bucket level. And so that bucket pretty much stayed level, except from the kind of the top portion right there. It's a little bit different, but you know, it's still it's pretty nice. You know, there's no worry when you are leveling it. Now the funny thing is I want you to, I'll put the camera right here, and you can see how much taller the Kwik Way will lift over the Johnson. That's the cool part right there. I mean, obviously the size of the Kwik Way shows that it will be a lot taller. Yeah, so I'll put this down. Oops. Put this down. Turn this tractor off. I'll put this one down and turn this tractor off. Running out of memory on the card, so this will be the only video tonight. Have to finish real quick here, but so anyway, that's the comparison of the Kwik Way and the Johnson 10. There was obviously the third loader for the 110s, but doubt there are very many of those out there, the Danco loaders. But these are the two major loaders for the 110s. The Kwik Way is carried on to the 140s, so did the Johnson. You got the Johnson Model 10 twin cylinder, and then so on and so forth, Johnson Model 12, etc., etc. I'm not really all that familiar with the 140 loaders, but anyway, thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful and informative, and I'll do another one here probably a week or so.